All right, let me ask you a question. Do the Mesoamericans recognize the great year, the cycles? Yes or no?
Do they recognize the great year? Of course they do.
Okay, so now.
Same as Egyptian? No.
Okay, let me. How long is a great year?
Let's see.
It's a cycle. A cycle is a cycle. 26,780 or 26,970 or 26,700 something. That's a cycle.
Look it up. Okay.
We ain't gotta look it up. Let me throw this in this discourse. How ancient are these people that you're speaking of in Mesoamerica that you claim are not African or have no African ancestry or blood? How old are these people, brother?
Well, the earliest evidence you got Monteverde, which is the oldest sites that you're finding. So you're looking at around 15, maybe 20,000 years, but I'd go for 15,000 years.
Okay, so at 15,000 years, do you not realize that that is not long enough to reckon a great year? What I'm saying is the only people on the planet that are ancient are original African, Nubian people, right? They're the only people old enough to reckon a great year. It takes 26,000 years, right? You have to be on the planet for at least 26,000 years to even say. Let me finish my point. Let me finish my point. I just want to finish my point, and you can fight and squabble with it. What I'm saying is that means you have to sit around for 26,000 years and have the ability to transmit information from generation to generation to generation for 26,780 years. Right, and then to make sure that that cycle was proper, and it did it again, you had to sit around again for another 26,800 and something years, right? And to be absolutely certain to make sure that's another great year. So we know for a fact that original people was here for at least 3 great years, and you can go to Pinnacle Point. That's average age is 170,000 BC. You know what I'm saying? That's a couple great years right there. Absolutely. What are you talking about? Pinnacle Point? That is a 170,000 year site where you find
the fact of the matter is that the calendar is what you call retrogressive.
Let me finish.
The calendar is retrogressive.
Let me finish. You gotta let me finish. I'm not cutting you off. You're getting your shot at it. Let me do my thing for a minute. Okay? What I'm trying to show you is you're dealing with the stellar mythos. Okay? You're dealing with the original small people, the little people. The first traveling, the first masons. When you go in a lodge, you'll see something called the gavel, right? But that's the same symbol that you find at Pinnacle Point, the axe. That's the same symbol that you find in Egypt in the Meta Necha, right, as the Necha or the Necharu. Okay? So what I'm trying to show you is that these people that reckoned time and cycles, the only people ancient enough to even come up with such a system is the original people. So the question I'm asking you is, how the hell do they reckon a great year when they ain't even been around for a great year?
Can I respond now?
You sure certainly can.
It's called retrogressive.
Explain that.
It doesn't mean that they lived back there. The same way we can calculate how far Pluto is doesn't mean we've been to Pluto. What you do is you use common reference points, and then you backtrack. So the calendar doesn't mean that they were there at the beginning of the calendar, but that's when their belief is that they started. That's like the Hebrews writing Genesis. They retrograde themselves. We're not talking about that. How do you count the motion of the sun through the zodiac if you're not there? How do you mark that? You would have to be there to even know it made a cycle like that, or you got taught by the little Masons. Absolutely. Positively. Not at all. Because the Europeans didn't do it. One, there is no evidence that there is any specific mark point of when a great year is. It was an arbitrary. It was an arbitrary choice.
Don't know what you're talking about.
The other thing that
we're gonna take some calls though. We're gonna take some calls. You don't know what you're talking about. Say your point. Say your point. Nope. Get your point. So your answer to wait.
Now the second thing that you claimed was that there was little people.
So your answer what? So your answer to that is retrograde. Okay. Take a call, Nikki. Wow. Funny guy there.
There was no little people, so okay.
Wait, are you man? Get out of here, man. You funny. Go ahead, Nikki. Clyde, you want to add something to that discourse right there?
I've been listening, but again, these are little people. They were called the Anu. They're mentioned in Egyptian hieroglyphics, and the Anu are called by Dr. Richard. They're called Richard King. They're called the seed people. And Dr. Richard King, he talked about the fact that these people took civilization everywhere. If you look at history, you'll find that pygmy people were found in China. They were found on the islands of the Indian Ocean. They were found even in along the Amazon. And these people had a great, great civilization. And they did many wonderful and wondrous things. Some of it we'll never know. But, again, these little people were important. And they are people that are important in history.